Welcome, everyone. You're tuning in to Blind Intelligence, where the rules, the rights, and responsibilities put you in control. This is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. I do not offer legal advice. I do not offer financial advice. If you would like legal advice and financial advice, I suggest you find yourself a competent professional, and by all means, please be advised. What I'm about to say here is strictly for educational and informational purposes only, and the rules and opinions of Foresight, neither host, does not reflect the views and opinions of any platform that hosts Blind Intelligence. Now, debt collectors target the elderly, disabled, and veterans. I'm going to say it again. Why does the debt collector target the elderly, the disabled, and veterans? Now, according to to my experience, they tell a lot of lies about to the disabled and to the elderly, and to veterans about their benefits. A lot of these debt collectors say, we'll garnish your benefits. We'll garnish your benefits if you don't pay us. We'll garnish your benefits if you don't pay us. And they have everybody in a frenzy. Right? Let me be clear. I'm going to be straight to the point. They cannot garnish your benefits unless you have consented to it. Let me tell you that. I'm going to say it again. They cannot garnish your benefits unless you consented to it. What that means, consented to it, that means that you went in there and you want to go get a loan for $1,000 and you filled out some paperwork. They gave you a stack of paperwork. And you went in there and you signed paperwork. And one of those documents in that stack was you signing away, you consenting that they can garnish your wages from your benefits. That's the reason why I say this is what you get when you don't read anything. When people don't read anything, these are the results. These are the results that comes out of that. That's why when you go in there, you need to read all documentation. But just like the funeral homes, right? Check this out. Just like the funeral homes, the funeral homes, they play on your these credit companies, these finance companies, they they play on your immediate need. You know what I'm saying? See, it's the same thing. Same thing with the funeral homes. Like, because in your time of need, that's when you get your bread. And you don't care what you're spending. And that's the same thing with the finance companies. When you go into the finance company and you want to get $1,000, you ain't going in there because you want to get $1,000 because you can. You ain't going to go in there because you just want $1,000 because you just want. Because many of you go in that finance company to get $1,000 because you're trying to catch up on a bill. That's exactly what's going on. So they play on that. So they are expecting for you not to read your documentations, just like in funeral homes. They expect you not to read your documentations. See, a lot of times, I mean, it's the same thing. The same thing. They'll have they'll have in their documentation that you could do I'm talking about the funeral homes. Some of them have a documentation that you can set up a payment plan with them. They don't even know what's in the documentation. And then when it's time for you to come and make all the reservations and make the payments and all of this and all of that, they're telling you they want their bread up front. Well, the finance companies, they work sort of similar the same way. They're gonna tell you that they're gonna put in the documentation that if you don't pay us that whole entire $1,000 back within 30 days, then we're gonna garnish your wages through your Social Security or disability, rather, whatever disability benefits you're getting, and all of that's promulgated by the government. Why would you fork over that right? That's a no-no. That's a no-no. When I look at that documentation, I said, nah, you don't want to, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't fork that over. You get inundated with mail. See what it is. They target people because you get inundated with mail. Like me, when I first got my house, they had inundated. They had bombarded me with a lot of mail. I mean, that's due to the credit, the consumer agencies selling my information to all of their customers and all of their customers, like all of these different magazines, finance companies, credit card companies. Everybody is trying to extend you some type of credit. Everybody. Insurances. I mean, everybody's trying to extend you some type of credit. So I got bombarded. So what I did was, I opted out of that stuff. But see, I didn't opt out until I got into trouble. And this is the whole thing about it. I don't want you to have a problem and then learn this information. You need to be on top of your game. See, I didn't know anything about credit debts and debt collectors. I didn't know anything about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, TILA, none of that. None of it. I was just trying to get me $1,000 so I could pay off some bills. Right? Mind you, I raked up a whole bunch of other debt besides, that was just an additive to what I had already had. I was just qualified to do it. Now, you can go online and I'm going to just put this out there. I think the telephone number is 188. I think it's 576 8688. That is your no mail opt-out telephone number. You can go onto that telephone number, right? You might want to rewind this. You might want to rewind this video, but I'm gonna say it again. The telephone number is area code 888 576 8688. That's no mail opt out. You wanna opt out all that stuff. You wanna opt out all of that stuff, all the mail. Well, what about credit cards? It's off. Look, let me tell you something. If you want to get a credit card, you know where to find them. All you got to do is go on your little phone, your little iPhone, Android, whatever you got, and tap in. You want a Capital One, tap in. Find it, just research them on your phone. That phone is a mini computer. You can find it. So what we talking about here? Opt out that stuff, because this is how they target you. Let me say this. Let me preface this real quick. They're selling your information. Why in the world are you allowing them to sell your information? I have no clue. They are selling your information without your permission. And this is why you opt out of that stuff. So you opt out of that stuff because you're telling them, you're saying, I'm not giving you permission no more to sell my information. I'm not letting nobody profit off of me. Bump that. They can have that. They can have it. So, but back to what I was talking about in terms of they target the elderly, the disabled, and veterans about the benefits. A lot of this stuff is fear tactics. Fear tactics. You cannot succumb to fear because, see, the reason why you succumb to fear because you don't know. And I'm here to tell you, this is why you do it. Okay, when you got a debt junk buyer, right? Like Midland Funding, LV&V, Portfolio Recovery. Well, they have to validate that debt. They must validate that debt. That's what affidavits is for and all of that. Especially when the verification stuff come in. But I would do it even with the validation. They got to validate that. Because here's the deal. When the only way that they can rebuttal that is with another affidavit. Right? Check that out. Now it's firepower here now. Look, this is firepower here. Look, they have to rebut it with another affidavit. That put them up under penalties of perjury and see what they do. You put them son of a bitches up on penalties of perjury, I guarantee you they're not going to do it. You know why? Because they don't want to put their, they're not going to put their, they don't want to be held liable. They don't want to be held liable. See, this is the reason why they're not going to do it. So please, what we talking about here? So please, I'm telling you. So stop being afraid. Look up, go to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, 15 USC 1681. Go to the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act and read it. Read what 15 USC 1692 G say about validating a debt when it comes to a debt collector. I didn't say a creditor. I said a debt collector. Your creditors goes for verification because they already have you know that they have your information. So you want to verify. You want to verify that they have all the correct information that they have. Because if they don't have it, they got to correct it, and they got 30 days to correct it. If they don't do it within that 30 days period, then they have to delete off the report, and that's a fact. If they're gonna come, but a lot of times, depending on how you write it, it's gonna come back verified. It'll come back verified. So, you got to watch your wordings because their AI system, EOSCA, one of the first AI systems that I've encountered before ChatGPT or anything I knew of, they was moving and they just come back verified. All you gotta do is take that song gun, write that song gun in red ink and sign it in blue and write it in there. That way eyes get put on it. Physical eyes. EOSCA can't read that information. Even if you probably I don't know I don't know, they probably have a new system right now, but where they can read red ink, but I know before they couldn't read red ink. Messes up their system. Signing or writing in red, signing in blue. So this is how you attack them. This is how you get your results. So that crap don't come back verified. But and like I said, but these debt collectors, they are very, very slick. They are very, very slick. These finance companies, because they'll have these in-house debt collections. See now, it's this New Jack Swing thing is like, man, just like, why are we turning in this thing when we could turn in when we can do it we can do it ourselves? But they don't understand. After a certain period of time, it's gonna go into a non-pay status. That means they can't collect on it no more. Statutory limitations may be up. And after 180 days, it's gonna go because they're gonna charge it off. That's for them. That's just like it's like balancing the books, sort of like. They're just taking it from one side of the ledger, putting it on the other side of the ledger. That's how they do. But you don't know it because nobody tells you anything. And all you elderly folk, stop being so doggone private. Because you mess around and you be too damn private, you might be signing something that you don't need to be signing. Yeah, nephew, I'm going here and get this $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever. You know you got A1 credit, and you're doing it because of what? You're trying to get it for grandson, for granddaughter. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Read the information. You need to go and read your information. Don't let these people duke you into giving up your benefit. Some of y'all is trying to pay a bill. They're just trying to keep your head above water. Why would you get your shoulders above the water, right? And then when you fill out that paperwork and they're taking your wages out of your Social Security benefit, shoot, that put you back down. That put you back down in the water. You still be above water, but you'll be above water neck length. Be just enough just to breathe. Who want to live like that? So don't allow them, the debt collectors, lie to you and make you afraid. This is what this video is about. For all that views this video, you might have a loved one. It might be you. It might be a brother, sister, father, mother, your grandparents. Might be an aunt, might be an uncle. Who knows? It might be anybody. It might be a significant other. But this information is pertinent to their well-being, because a lot of times they don't know what they're getting into. It's like quicksand. You know, when you get into quicksand and you try to get yourself out, the more you wrestle with that quicksand, and they say wrestle. When you wrestle with that quicksand, the more it succumbs you, you know, and then you find yourself you in over your head. And it was like back in the days, like an episode on the Incredible Hulk. He fell into that, David Banner fell into that quicksand and he couldn't get out, no matter how strong the Incredible Hulk was. It took that blind lady to get him out of there. It took a little old blind lady to get him out of there. No matter how strong the Incredible Hulk was, it took that little old blind lady to hit them tree branches to get him up out of there. Because he was in over his head. He wrestling with something that was more powerful than he was. And that's what these debt collectors are. They're like quicksand. And you're wrestling with something that's more powerful. If you don't know where your branches are that can pull you up out of it, you're going to be in over your head. Guarantee you that. Check out that metaphor. Do me a favor. Click like and share this video out if you find it very enlightening. If you find the video very enlightening, please click share and like and subscribe and hit that notification bell when I go on. I thank you for watching.